Hello, welcome to Is This AI? I'm Olly Veysey, co-chair of Beamer AI Council, together with Lisa Talia Moretti, my co-host of the podcast. Lisa Talia, hello.
Hey, how are you, Ollie?
I am well, thank you. We are here, episode 8, our final episode, and I'm delighted that we have fellow members of the AI Council with us, Dora and Prateek, and we will talk more to you in a moment. Thank you for joining us. We're now in the final episode of season 1, and we're going to take a minute to reflect on what's landed, what we've learned, and what we might care about or not in 2026. But first, the headlines. Lisa Talia, can you go first? Because I don't love the headline that I brought with me today.
I will
What
go first.
have you got?
I will happily go first. So lots of new model updates this week. So Gemini 3 has gone live and, well, it's been released and it will be rolling out in the next few weeks to everyone. Everyone's very excited about Gemini 3. Its evaluations show that it is like now the top model on the market. And also we saw that Grok had a new update. So Elon hailed this, it's his super intelligent, brilliant PhD, whatever the big adjectives were this week that he used to unveil the new model. However, it has been put to the test and we see that, they are still hilarious hallucinations, lots of errors having to do with visual reasoning and just basic things like, draw an aeroplane and it putting the engines on at 45 degrees. So, we're not at super general intelligence anywhere near yet.
Okay. Well, yeah, interesting. I mean, Gemini 3, I suppose my question is best at what? I think one thing I've learned going through this series is none of them are the best at everything. I'm really interested to dig into that and find out what it's best at, because I'm sure Dora and Prateek will have ideas on that when we talk to them in a minute. Thanks for that. My headline, which unfortunately it caught my eye for the wrong reasons, Marketing Week. Thank you for that. Some research out suggesting that AI-made ads are now testing better than human-crafted ones. So, we can all say what we want about AI slop, and most of it is justified, but we can't ignore the fact that creative work from AI is doing the do. So we have to embrace it and also dig into it. I suspect there was more human involvement, right? We were talking about this before, and that was your point, Lisa Talia.
Yeah, exactly. That headline feels a little bit clickbaity to me because, as we have discovered throughout this process of, both through our own practice, but also speaking to other people working in the industry, we know that nothing is just straight up AI. There are people involved behind the scenes, and we have to make sure that we remember that. So, people are involved in creating those ads in some way or in shape, way or form. And I'd really like to double click on that and figure out in what way are those humans involved. But I refuse to believe that it's just a button, generate an ad, and that ad is testing better than anything else that humans create. So I'm going to push back.
Yeah, we're going to dig deeper.
Exactly.
Dora, I can see you nodding and leading into this conversation. So I'm just going to pause for a minute and go, you've got something to say about this, haven't you?
I definitely do.
Please share it with us.
I think we need to look at the baseline. If you think about the majority of the organizations, especially product companies that advertise, the budgets for creative and the budgets for crafting great ads are just not there. Therefore, AI is improving on what they have. So I think we're measuring the wrong thing. We're not measuring peak AI versus peak human. We're measuring low budget human versus what AI capability can bring. So that's the nuance that we need to think about.
Thank you for bringing that nuance. Yeah, I think it's hard to argue sometimes when you look at some of the human created ads that really we wouldn't be better off using AI. So thanks for that. Prateek, before we spin on, did you want to respond to either that Gemini 3 update or this other headline?
No, absolutely. I mean, I think I'm excited about Gemini 3 as well. I haven't tested myself, and then the anti-gravity ID that they have reached. And based on the early feedback, what I'm hearing from my colleagues, and it's exciting. Like day in, day out, I use Cursor as my primary ID to play around with the things. Teams all are into Cursor, but then definitely hearing a good feedback about the anti-gravity. It's still early days, but Gemini 3, which is the underlying model for anti-gravity as well, is really, really promising. So looking forward to try that as well myself.
Nice. Thank you. So we're going to look back. We started off 6 months ago, and for Lisa Talia, many thousands of miles away. With episode 1, we introduce ourselves with a cheerful provocation that agencies have 18 months to live. And while we are an optimistic group, there's no doubt that we're all feeling the pressure. We're going to spin through these real fast. LT, tell us what happened in episode 2.
Sure thing. So we had Emily Laws on, and she pulled back the curtain on vibe coding and spoke to us about what can go wrong, as in how websites can become actually less accessible when craft and care get left solely to a machine. So in that episode, we thought about how AI could make you faster, but it can also make your outputs worse.
Episode 3 was with our very own Dora, who gave us the line of the series that being chief AI officer is less like running tech transformation, more like building a cult. And we've all wanted to be in Dora's cult ever since. Not because AI is mystical, but because people using it can behave as if it is, and that the work is about the culture, the people, the understanding, and the work you do to introduce it, to create the environment. Otherwise, you're just dropping AI into chaos and wondering why it doesn't work. And that was episode 3. Check it out if you haven't already.
Episode 4, we looked at all of the data. We looked into the data explaining to us and kind of uncovering why so many AI projects and Gen AI projects were failing. So 80 to 90% of AI projects fail, and that rises to 95% for Gen AI projects. And a lot of the time, it's not to do with the tech, right? So we saw this too when we were talking about digital transformation back in the day, when that was the new catchphrase. And very often it was about the people, and the same thing are happening as we are rolling out these big AI tools and big AI programs. It is all around human problems, human expectations, human leadership, not so much about the model or the maths or the code. Yes, data does come into that, and sometimes data is the issue, but on the whole, it is definitely a people problem.
Thank you. In episode 5, we were joined by Prateek's colleague, Nathan Roach, who coined the phrase that stuck with me about better than nothing practice. And I really appreciated how grounded the approach that he was presenting, how the T-shaped marketing model had evolved, how you could use his framework to really make progress in a meaningful way and measure where you're at with AI fluency and in your own practice.
So episode 6, we recruiter Michaela Pilgrim took us into the slightly bleak valley that was recruitment, and how AI is having a huge impact on recruitment, particularly in the creative industries. She reminded us of the importance of human networks, reminded us of the importance of human communities, and also creating opportunities for yourself that allow you to show off those very human soft skills that are really difficult to portray and get across on, just a black and white text CV.
And last time out, we were joined by the ever dangerous, always entertaining, and wildly creative The Peeps, who shared with us their view, not only of how it's AI that are replacing creatives, but potentially people making decisions. Shock horror, it could be the people, not the tech, who are making life harder, and just had really interesting thoughts to share around where their work is becoming more niche, where the really interesting creative work with AI is not going bigger and broader, but finding workflows and tools that allow you to do really interesting work that you can't do any other way. And that's where AI gets exciting. So that was a quick whistle-stop tour. We've spoken loads. Dora, take your pick. What caught your eye? What stayed with you? Would love to hear any and all of your reflections about some of that.
Cool. I'm going to go to episode 7. There was a concept there that really, really resonated with the work I've been doing and the whole leadership effort to turn around the agency model. And that particular soundbite was the concept of slow craft. Having and crafting the time for slow craft. It's so, so important to achieve that, because the concept that I've been talking about is called high agency. And in order to achieve high agency, both as a play on word and words, and also as a new concept of the new agency model, because let's be clear, the old agency model will be dead in 18 months minus 4, or however many have passed since we started. The new agency model relies on the slow craft and giving people the tools to speed up the mundane and to have the time for slow craft.
Yeah, I love that. So just talk us through your understanding of what slow craft is, and particularly in relation to AI tools and practice.
In my world, everyone that works in an agency or in a creative role will have enough time to get a better understanding of the complexities of the job, better understanding of the context of the client, dive a little bit deeper into what the brief actually is, and actually have the time, not, having creative or strategic work measured in hours is incredibly frustrating. Giving us a couple more contingency hours around our craft is going to help immensely, while AI takes care of meeting transcript, summarizing conversations, sending emails, crafting communication that you don't really care about, taking care of the scheduling, taking care of workflows that don't really interest you as a creative, and just helping you apply your best thinking where it's needed the most.
And you used a term that what's the term that you're giving to this in your practice as Chief AI Officer, and how are you seeing that adopted with the clients that you're working with?
We're seeing that as a need for more strategic thinking across the agency. So the agency shape at the moment, if you think about it as a triangle, you have a big senior person leading an account and then loads of people doing the do. Well, we're going to look to not necessarily invert that triangle, but turn it more into a cone. I don't know, something that is a lot bigger at the top while remaining quite, the same at the bottom. So widening that thing at the top, we're bringing more strategic thinking, more strategists, more creatives, more craft at the top, and giving those people the time to do their craft on accounts where the do is actually being taken over by AI. We've already spoken about AI doing vibe coding, AI doing advertising, AI doing planning. So those jobs are being taken away. We need to push people higher up the value chain and turn them either into really, really kick-ass strategic people on accounts, or move them into a place where they can add value through AI, management, because we are all going to manage AI in the future.
Now that's an interesting, how you train to be an AI manager. That's I want to put a pin in that and come back to that. That's really interesting. Prateek, how do you feel about Dora's insights there? Is that reflected in what you're seeing?
No, absolutely. I think, and I didn't watch the episode 7, so thank you, Dora, for the summary. I think that's the one episode I need to go and watch as well. But yeah, it kind of make a lot of sense. How AI is making its way across all the streams throughout the digital projects and beyond, right? I mean, it's important that we have the right people in the place, the right processes around it, and how you adopt it as well. In particular, right? I mean, one of my biggest insights from this entire series, there were a lot, and it was hard to pick, but then were more around like AI isn't failing; it's just the organizations are failing at the readiness of the AI, and it was kind of came through in multiple episodes, especially in episode 3, where Joe said something like that boards want magic, staffs or people are fearing job loss, and expectations are not aligned. And that's where the things break. And even in episode 4, Luke mentioned that enterprises aren't ready for AI rather than AI not ready for enterprises. I think that got stuck with me. And this is something that I see in as well with the agencies, the peer agencies that we work with, and our customer base as well. And I think, Dora, you mentioned it, I think in episode 3, if I'm not mistaken, that and probably you just said it as well, like you need a culture and the mindset shift to kind of overcome that, right? And then I guess, Lisa, you kept on repeating in multiple episodes about AI literacy and the importance of it, right? And not force fitting the AI everywhere, right? So we are seeing it everywhere as well. I mean, it wasn't like we didn't knew it, but I think throughout the series that belief got enforced, and then you were able to clearly see that without having these two aspects, any of these AI initiatives or projects would fail, and any of the customer projects that we work with would fail as well. So for me, that was the takeaway. And it wasn't about like, are humans better than AI at a certain thing or vice versa? For me, I think I'm a firm believer that AI has a role to play at each and every level, but it's important to find that right balance. Some of the work that I do as well as also started affecting it in terms of what I was thinking, like what kind of AI offerings we can give it to our customers, right? That has evolved with this thought process as well, right? I mean, one of the bigger changes in the past few months have been that instead of focusing more on like AI solutions, services and all, one of the key service that we are focusing more upon is like AI readiness and grounded by the data readiness. So a lot of organizations do not even know about it. What does it mean culturally, the data side, the AI practices side, how things would come together and all. And that's how it has affected me in general. But then in my belief around it, or rather my understanding of the AI has evolved throughout this series are the major takeaways for me.
Thank you. Lisa Talia, do you want to pick up on some of that?
Well, I guess one of the things that I think is important to pick up on is we must be careful when we say things like the AI isn't failing or the tech isn't failing, because we know that the tech does fail, right? We know that the AI is failing at certain things. You know, we don't understand, like we will never be able to fix hallucinations, as an example, and like that's a form of failure in the tech. But I think, you know, to your point, Prateek, like we need to think really carefully about what the problems are, right? Like what problems are we getting this tech to solve? And is this tech a good match for the problem that we're looking to solve? As opposed to just saying, well, here are all of our problems. Oh, and we have this new technology. Bang, 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 right? Like AI is going to solve this, AI is going to solve this, AI is going to solve this, because it's not going to solve everything. And if you just rely only on the tech itself, we're not going to solve those problems. We need people integrated into the tech in a smart, strategic way, like Dora was saying, where they're still using their skills to make sure that people and tech are working together to solve problems. And I think that's just encourage some healthy debate on the podcast.
Everyone's speaking to a bit of a reset around, or refocusing around what we're doing, how we're engaging with AI. And having got very excited, I think, Prateek, I'm seeing in the organization where I'm working, like people actually, okay, we need to actually learn how to use this. So that's going to take a bit of time. And I think we all wanted a cheat code, and there isn't one. So we've got to now do the work. And that's for organizations, whether that's getting data ready, AI fluency within teams, really figuring out effective workflows. It's actually there's a bit of kind of time to get to the grind wheel of it all. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I wonder if you're noticing any sort of wane in enthusiasm or just a reset of expectations, Dora and Prateek.
Seeing something that I call the magification of AI.
Yeah.
Nice, I love it.
There used to be a thing internally, externally, every time there was a problem, can we create an agent for that? Can we build an agent? And now it's like, right, how do we solve this problem? Where does AI come into it? What AI tools can we use? So the questions are much better than what I've had before, where everything was solvable with an AI agent. Well, it's not. And I think we're all maturing in our thinking and how we approach problems now. And I love that.
So, I mean, I think something similar for us as well, Dora, right? I mean, like asking the right questions, like where are the friction, let's say in the workflow, that costs us time, money, or quality, right? And how can AI help with it, rather than asking like what AI technology fits better over here to start with. I think that's a change that we have been seeing as well. But just to kind of take a step back, when I said that AI isn't failing, I mean, I still believe that it's just like any other technology world, right? I mean, it's as an organization, as an individuals or technologies and creative people, right? We are trying to learn this thing as well. It's something new, some out of fear, some out of FOMO as well, that, hey, everybody's using it, let me just try it, right? What's in this new model and all, right? That I think is getting I mean, people realize that this entire thing and the hype around it's kind of settling down now. People are asking those right questions. And now is the time where the AI would also start seeing the real effect than just beyond, I mean, which is just not like an experimentation stage as well. Organizations have matured, a lot of them as well, while there are challenges, just like any of the new technologies as well, right? Similar to like, for example, again, I probably mentioned one of the episode as well, right? Like how internet was, right? Like, hey, what will emails do, right? I mean, not useful. Email would die. Then there was this internet bubble burst, right? That happened in 2000, right? While internet bubble busted, internet still lived on, right? So that's how I see it. No.
Sorry to cut across you there. Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned the bubble, and everyone's talking about now, are we in a bubble? Nvidia posted Q3 earnings, which surprised everybody, and there's no sign of the bubble bursting anytime soon. It also just occurred to me that we didn't start with the provocation, but it feels like it's appropriate to bring it in now. So I'm going to, because what we are talking about is no one is going to be talking about AI in 2026. What do you think, Lisa Talia?
Well, I think we are going to be talking about AI in relation to other things next year. So like AI and skills and AI and employability and new AI roles within the workplace. But I think probably the heat is going to be taken out of the conversation a little bit. And, one of the things I hope that we talk about more in relation to AI next year is the importance of skills and the importance of expertise, and not just everyone like going on about like the new, tool that's been released. Because one of the biggest things that I saw this year, and also one of my insights from talking to our guests on the podcast, is that by using a tool, we often mistake that we suddenly have these brand new skills that were related to the task that the tool helped us complete. And we have to be really careful to not think that just because an AI tool is able to help us complete a task, that we suddenly, just through osmosis, absorb all of these skills that are associated with that task. And I push back so hard against Silicon Valley, right? When they come up with these big headlines, AI is going to democratize coding, AI is going to democratize filmmaking, AI is going to democratize creativity. And it's like, no, I can use Cursor to generate some code. I am by no means putting on my CV that I am a developer ready to be hired in that role, just because there are now tools that can help people code. And I think that's something that I really hope within organizations, that we start to pivot to next generation skills needed in a more in a greater emerging tech landscape where things are just constantly emerging all the time, and what skills we need to be able to catch up with that. And also mindsets. I think mindsets are so important. And I'm hoping that, mindsets and skills overtake the word AI in conversations next year, because I think that's what we need.
And you've been talking about that consistently throughout the series. So thank you. Dora, what has two questions, if I may. What has surprised you about where we've got to in the AI conversation? And where do you think we go from here?
Again, I'm going to go with the demagification. I think that's a really good thing. Building on to what Lisa Talia was saying, I think we need to teach people what good looks like, because that's where AI slop gets created, when people think they are the tool and they've inherited the skills and they just don't know what good looks like. That's why I believe adoption within the most experimented people in teams is more advanced than in the junior people in teams, because experimented people know what good looks like, therefore they can confidently use AI. So we need to teach people how to confidently use AI in the next year. I'm also concerned about the amount of investment that has gone into AI this year. Literally, there is no investment unless you put AI on your product, be it biscuits, rockets, whatever you're selling, it has to have AI. I think that will stop next year to an extent. But I will probably say, and I've said it now on record, I will eat my hat if no one in 2026 will be talking about AI.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. Tune in to see if Dora's going to be eating her hat next year.
Yes. I don't know what episode that will be. I think your hat's pretty safe. What do you think, Prateek? what are we going to be
Yeah.
talking about? Well, we're going to be talking, aren't we? Because we'll be here still talking. But whether
Of
anyone
course.
else will be tuning in to listen to us talk, I don't know. What do you think we'll be talking about?
So I think, I mean, like people won't be talking about AI in terms of the higher tools anymore, right? I mean, it's all about the problem solving. It will become a baseline, in my opinion, right? Pretty much everything that we do, it's like an expectation. For example, I know, Dora, you took an example of multiplication, but in a different sense, right? And linking it with the skills side of thing as well. We all need to learn the skills and craft and invest into that, the core skill of it as well. But it's like saying that, I mean, when calculators came, right, or today, right, I mean, we still use calculators for like, let's say 10-digit multiplication. That doesn't mean nobody values the real hand solving a math problem from a hand, right? But then would we do that? No, right? If I give you that equation, you would probably pick up the calculator, right? So it's one of those things with the AI as well. I believe that you would use AI in a way that doesn't mean your other core skills are going away, but the people who know how to do it or how to or are better at their core skills would be able to make a better use of the AI, and it would become a baseline in lot of enterprises, or rather all. I think it's given the way we search things, we use different products, be like your CRMs, your CMSs, your ERPs, your how you interact on the web portals and all, right? The entire experience is changing in a way. That doesn't mean that the UI is no longer valid. It's just that will take a different shape or form. Same goes for the tooling. You will see the CRMs, but then a CRM with an AI insight, I would rather go with that as an example. So I won't buy an AI and then kind of ignore the CRM, but I would buy a CRM which has an AI versus which doesn't do AI well. So that's how I see it. I mean, and people have started realizing it as well. And we will see a lot of maturity around that side. If I can make another bold prediction, I think one of the major AI firm would probably go out of business because they they may have not got the right model or a business model. It's not like the AI or the technology. I still feel that AI would survive or technology would survive, but it's just that the businesses or the major tech companies only around the AI, maybe one of the major one would fail, and that could be the news.
Now there's a prediction. Thank you. We're almost out of time, so I'm just gonna ask everyone to share with us any final thought, and perhaps maybe something either in your personal practice or what's going on in your business that you're looking forward to in the new year. Lisa Talia, how do you want to send us off into the holiday period?
I'm going to send us off with a bit of a prediction of my own. So I think next year, one of the most popular job hires next year is going to be something like an adoption and enablement manager or enablement lead, something along those lines. What does that person do? I think that person is going to be driving adoption of AI through building learning experiences, kits, communication. I think they're going to be having to create like an internal grassroots movement around like AI champions, like manage that AI champion network within an organization. I think they're going to have to work with L&D to create really clear comms, bite-sized learning to cut through the overwhelm that we're seeing in the workplace, and also to help with that, what Dora said, I call demystify AI, calls it demagicify AI. I think also this person is going to need to have to work across the domains of technical policy and design and work as almost a translator across those. So things like helping teams understand how to put legal and regulation requirements into practice, helping teams identify potential unintended risks of different AI outputs and mitigating them. So that's my prediction, that we are going to be hiring full-time AI adoption and enablement managers next year.
Can I please just jump right after that?
Go for it, Dora.
We've been busy, and because through interactions with big organizations, we've realized everyone's busy being busy. So we needed a way from the outside in to evaluate how people are doing with their AI efforts. How well are they communicating it? What technologies they're putting in place and so on. So we created something that we call AI maturity evaluation. Groundbreaking? No, but the results from that were groundbreaking. We've put the AIM 100 through our maturity tool, and we've realized that 85% of businesses are stuck at the automation levels. AI is used to automate some menial tasks. Interestingly, phase that comes after that in our maturity model is just that, enablement, adoption. And that's where 85% of the businesses struggle. That's why I think I'm fully aligned with your prediction, because adoption needs to happen in order for all of us to thrive with AI.
Yeah, so insightful. Thank you both. I mean, I'm just going to add my on a smaller sort of more personal practice level. I'm at a certain point of AI maturity in my own practice, my own creative practice, and I've been experimenting with lots of different tools and different workflows, and I'm looking forward to next year. I feel like I've got like subscriptions to everything, and I've got all these tools, and I want it to all become more integrated. I'm going to really refine and hopefully share, a workflow that I wouldn't say necessarily is just consistent and fixed, because it can evolve, but has been robustly tested. And I feel like I'm getting closer to that. And so that it doesn't just feel hit and miss. I'm starting to feel more confident and more have a deeper understanding of workflows that I can rely on and that I feel are really helpful. So that's something that I'm going to be working on, and I'm looking forward to next year as a practitioner.
I am looking forward to hearing about the Olly version of a jetpack that you're building, because that's what it sounds like it is that you're building. Olly's jetpack.
I'm glad you said jetpack. I'll go with jetpack. Prateek, final word from you, and then we'll let everyone go and have a very peaceful holiday.
No, absolutely. I cannot agree more. I think we'll see more adoption across all the roles or organization agencies, I think, and people would be at much more ease and then not feel rushed into trying some new tool, but rather with maturity using something to solve the real problem. I think we are already kind of inching towards it, and a lot of organizations are actually moving toward it. But then where was I like 4 months back versus now? I think that settledness, that calmness is there, and a lot of organizations would feel that as well. With the AI, which is, and it will become kind of a baseline for everything. So that's what I feel that would happen next year. Looking forward to that, and for whatever else I do as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being our co-pilots as we navigate some of this uncertainty. Really appreciate working with you. I wish you and everyone listening a very peaceful rest of the year, and we will see you on the other side.
See you in 2026. Cheers,
Bye-bye.
guys.
See ya.
Bye-bye.